Welcome to our second video interview with Around the World in 80 Skeins. I'm here today with Tina Newton of Blue Moon Fiber Arts.
Hi.
How did you get into spinning and dyeing?
I fell. I was a therapist for years, and I worked with women, mostly women, victims of pretty intense violence, and I got burned out. So I stopped and got kind of lost, and decided, as a friend said, well, why don't you go take all those classes you've always wanted to take? So I did. I started with beading, which I don't do at all anymore. But it was local, and I knew the person, and it was just easy to get into that. And so I just kind of moved. I just kept going. I don't even remember, the sequence of classes, but I just kept going. And actually, I do. One of the beading classes was in a yarn store.
Oh.
Yeah. And I had remembered that I, as a kid, really wanted to knit. Like all my female relatives did it. They knit, they crocheted. They would even meet at our house and do it, but they wouldn't. I was not allowed because I'm left-handed.
Oh, that's hard. I had to teach my sister how to knit left-handed, and it was really difficult to reverse it in your brain.
Yeah. So, but I took it on as I couldn't. Like, I didn't even try.
Right.
It's at any point until, I don't know, I'm 40-something when all this, I quit being a therapist. And so, I thought, oh, well, I should try knitting. And so I started with crochet because it was really appealing because they were doing rugs. And so it was a really big hook. I thought I could do that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why in my head that transitioned into I could do it because it was a big hook, but
right.
Nonetheless. And then moved on from crocheting to knitting was last. It was spinning was next.
Okay.
That was huge for me. Like spinning. I love to spin. I'd be hard pressed if I had to choosing between dyeing and spinning.
Yeah.
I really love making yarn.
Yeah.
A lot. So.
Do you remember what size was the first skein you spun?
Oh, it was huge and like all curly and
right.
fat and thin. And
did you make anything with it?
I still have it.
Yeah.
I have a little. Yeah,
oh,
I have a little.
Sweet.
I have a spinning oak chest.
Oh, I love that.
No, I do. I have the first. I don't know, like 10 skeins.
Oh, that's really sweet.
No, I know. I had a friend who wanted. She goes, "So you should let me make something for you with them, or you should, or we should weave." And I was like, "No, look at them. They're stunning." Sometimes I'll bring them out and put them in a bowl.
Oh.
But I definitely go in and look at them.
I love that. That's
yeah.
the cutest
I love
ever.
them. Like I think they're beautiful. So, and I just haven't been ready to transition them into something knit. I think yarn is beautiful. Like, I love knitting and weaving and everything that you do with yarn.
Yeah.
But, a well-made, well-dyed skein of yarn, to me, sexy as hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's
a little piece of art.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And often the finished product for me,
yeah.
which is why it's good that I sell it.
Yeah. And how did you get to dyeing? Did you just one day say, let's give this a try?
I wasn't happy with what there was to spin color-wise. And, I mean, it could have been part of where I was. Well, certainly where I was geographically and also just time. Like, there just wasn't a lot. And so I took a dye class and wasn't too tickled with my results. So then I just bought a book and some dyes and jumped. And that was...
What color was your first skein? And did you do anything with it? Or is it also in the hope chest?
No. It might be. Some of the first colors are like Farmhouse and Fire on the Mountain. Like, I have a whole little notebook of all the first colorways. But the really first ones, I didn't write down. Like, I didn't write down. They weren't repeatable. I just dumped dye.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to transition into, because I just dyed roving or a top or spinning fibers for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then made yarn and sold the yarn I made. Like that's how I started out.
Cool.
Was selling my hand spun, and then I finally decided I wanted to graduate into yarn, and so.
Which of your colorways are you the most proud of? The one that was like the most breathtaking when it came out, all done. Can you think of one specific one?
Probably Farmhouse. It, and then the one that really still I just think is the most stunning colorway ever, and took me quite a bit to recreate it because it was an accident. And it had lots of color. It had lots of different colors in it, and they were moving on the skein in weird ways. And it was like, oh my God, I can't recreate this. And I did. And we dyed. It's Rooster Rock, and it's really beautiful. I love it. Rooster Rock probably is my favorite color.
Very cool.
Farmhouse is one of our best-selling ones, and I was pretty proud of just the color theory in that one. But
so I was at Twisted the other day, and I looked at they have a massive women's section, and I was like, ooh, but the names are so fun. Do you guys do a committee to come up with them, or is it all you?
It's almost all me. I mean, sometimes I'll go out especially this past year when maybe I haven't been feeling so great.
Yeah.
I would go out and say, okay, here's our theme, or here's this, what can we do? And if I feel like, usually I tend, my filter is not the strongest, and I'm pretty twisted. So I usually go out and make sure it's okay to name yarn as something.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to offend anybody, or, are they going to buy? The first one that was really interesting, the reaction was Pond Scum, which is one of my best-selling colors. And I love it. It's my green. But I got a ton of emails when we first put that out. I was like, this is such a beautiful green. Why would you name it such a hideous name? And I was like, because it's pond scum. Go look at a pond and the scum on the top. Yeah. That's what it is.
And that's beautiful.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's all parts of life that are maybe don't sound so nice, but are gorgeous.
Yeah. I was the one that I thought was the funniest, and I loved the color, was Krabby McHappy Pants. Because I was with my sister too, and I saw it, and I said, oh, that's totally your colors. It's the orange and kind of tealy blues or whatever. And then I saw the name, and I was like, this was made for you.
So there are two of them. There's Krabby McHappy Pants, and there's Krabby McCrabby Pants.
What color's Krabby McCrabby Pants?
It's bluer. It's a little darker. Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, we're not doing shows anymore. But when we were doing shows, one of the most fun for me were the husbands that would come in the booth, especially a couple years ago, where they're looking at the names, and it was just great to watch them. Yeah. Because they'll look at the names and they're like, huh. And you could see it on their face, like this, like this, like this, and then they turn around looking for someone to ask. And one guy, he's like, "Who names this yarn?" And I was like, "Well, I do." And he goes, "You're funny." and I was waiting because I knew he was going to pick this one. There's one called KMBFLA, I think that's it. Yeah, LA. And he goes, "What's that one?" And because years and years ago, when Ravelry was first Ravelry, in the Socks That Rock group, they were talking about colorways we would like Tina to make that she hasn't, and they were all about lavender, and it's like, and I was like, I'm not making another lavender. There's a lavender in there, and blah blah blah, and I was pretty pissy about it. I'm not quite sure why. So I named it KMBFLA, and thought nobody would get it because it's Kiss My Big Fat Lavender Ass, and they got it immediately.
Of course.
Hours after I posted it. It's like, oh, look, we pissed her off.
But she still did it.
She did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Pantone let you pick the color of the year, what would it be?
Oh, Pond Scum.
Pond Scum?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that on the runways of Paris.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It would be fantastic. How has your company evolved since its inception, and where do you see it going in the future?
Oh, my goodness. It has just grown leaps and bounds. I mean, I really had no expectations, especially in the beginning. I just did it. I mean, I was actually shocked when someone. I mean, I started this because a woman who owned a yarn store where we were vacationing saw my basket of handspun and offered me $500 for it, and I'm like, I can make more. Like, I have little kids, you know. I'm like, yeah. And that started it. So, what was really important to me though was to not go into huge debt or just to organically grow it, which I did. Right. So it just kind of went step by step. It was just a natural process. Like, well, okay, now we need to do this. You know, if we want to keep going and be sustainable onto ourselves, then we need to take this next step. Right. And so that's what I basically have been doing. And then as I've shifted some things, like I've scaled, we were mostly retail. We sold our own yarn, which when I first started doing it, nobody was doing it. Mm-hmm. I actually got a lot of flack for it.
Like selling it online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead of wholesaling it. Yep. But for me, I was like, I'm not willing to stand at a table for 10 hours painting yarn for $7 when I could do it for 14. Yeah. So, and now we're switching things up a little bit and still doing retail, but also offering wholesale accounts more and more. So, just step by step.
That's nice. Do you have plans for future growth?
I do, but I've been I put everything on hold for this year with the breast cancer.
Understandable.
So, I mean, I have great things. I mean, I'm a big vision kind of person, and I'm not afraid to put my money where my mouth is. Like, it's exciting to me. Yeah. I mean, if I had my way, I would talk Portland City Council into having a mill here. Portland's a perfect place for a mill. Yeah. You know. So, yes. Yeah. But I'm waiting. I need to get done with this page first.
Yes. So. And then World Yarn Domination.
That's right. Yes. That has been my plan all along.
Yeah.
Just way in the back. Like one year in the sock club we did, I think it was about 5 years ago. It's the favorite graphic we ever did for the sock club was World Domination. It was just the best. So, and this is our 10th year.
Wow.
So I'm bringing all the graphics back and putting them on t-shirts.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that one will be there too.
If somebody has never worked with your yarns, what line would you suggest to give them a feel for your brand?
The Socks That Rock.
Socks That Rock.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't even know we have other yarn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's right there
right.
on the website. You know, we just started with Shannon Squire, who you talked to. We started this society.
Big ass skein?
Yeah, the big ass skein. Because a lot of our garment yarn skeins are 8 ounces. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how they come from the mill. And as a hand painter, that's the better way for us to work with it. Right. So we had, my friend Karen Alfke, who's also a designer. She goes, I think we should just have a big ass skein club and celebrate the big ass skein. And I was like, that's awesome. So we are doing that, but the emails I'm getting is like, I had no idea you had other yarn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? So they type in Socks That Rock, and that's what they get. Right. So, yes. But Socks That Rock is the gateway drug for a Blue Moon. For sure.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Oh, there's so many. I miss being out in the barn dyeing a lot. Right now, pretty much all the colorways I create, write the recipe down, test it, have Deborah, who's my production lead, have her test it to make sure it's repeatable, and then I walk away. You know, I walk away. I don't do any production dyeing anymore because I run this, and that actually stopped when I was doing events and planning Sock Summit because I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Like there was just not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't miss the production dyeing. Like I don't miss dyeing 100 skeins of one colorway.
Yeah.
I do miss being immersed in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do miss that part, but I'm not sure. The one way I do get that back is teaching, and I love to teach.
Mm-hmm.
I love to teach color and dyeing. It's great fun.
Yeah. What's a not so fun part of your
job? So I'm going to preface this.
Okay.
With any mills that I work with, I'm so sorry. Working with some of the mills, not all of the mills. Mostly because especially with the bigger ones,
mm-hmm.
Who are mostly making yarn for the garment industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're diddly.
Yeah.
To them, we're small, and so our complaints aren't maybe heard as well, which is unfortunate. But the standards, like often my yarn is not been tested until it walks in my door. You know, and so standards and keeping things, and I know I'm not the only. I mean, I hear about this from other dyers all the time.
Right.
Which is why having my own mill is so appealing.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it really would. So there's that.
Yeah.
I find that the most frustrating.
Yeah.
Is, yet again, here we are. There's inconsistencies in this yarn, or, it's supposed to be superwash and it isn't, or it's not supposed to be superwash and it is. Like big stuff, not small stuff.
Yeah. Not like a knot here or there.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yes. So that's, I would say that's probably it. I mean, most everything else, I like learning and discovering new things, so I'm pretty game for anything.
Yeah. So where do you find your inspiration for your colors?
Everywhere.
Do you dream about it too?
Yes. Taste it, feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could make little colored people, which I kind of feel like I do with the Skeins. Yeah. No, color, like huge.
Yeah.
Like I dream it, I see it. I drive my family insane because, like, if we're walking or anything, it's like, where is she go? Like, where is she? And I've seen something and I need to go.
Yeah.
Investigate it or look at that color. Yeah.
Do you take pictures or do you just
I
write
do.
notes?
I'm a photographer. I take pictures. I take pictures. I make notes in my head. Like it's like, this thing, this thing's great. Yeah. Because I can take a picture. I email myself all the time, or say this, and this.
And when you see, so if you see something and you're like, oh, this would make a great colorway, do you automatically start doing like the
yes
formulation of the recipe in your head?
And then I discovered I think 2 years ago a website called Color Lovers.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's like the best.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So like this year when I couldn't sleep I would just go in there and I'd have my list of things that I was thinking about or working on, and I just would start. And then I have it.
Yeah.
And it's got all kinds of notes in with it. And
yeah, that's so funny because your colorway, Guppy, there was like for a while, I think it was like one of the favorite color schemes on Color Lovers, where it was like orange and like kind of a bright blue and a white and whatever. And so when I saw it, and I think it was something about a fish or something.
Right, because it's very fish-like.
It's very fish-like. It's very like Nemo. Right. And
yeah, I almost call it Nemo.
That would have been cool.
But I love the word guppy.
Yeah.
I just think it's a great word.
It's a happy word.
It's a happy word.
So I know that you actually collaborate with a lot of designers, or you at least your designers. There are designers like Shannon and a couple others I saw. What are your favorite designs that have been made with Blue Moon?
Well, I have a lot of socks because of the sock club. So I have some favorite socks, but that's a really great question. I'm sure I really thought
or have you seen any projects from people who've made?
They're just almost. I'm always stunned by what people do with my yarn. I've seen some really beautiful woven pieces that have made me cry.
Yeah.
They're so stunning. And, but I think this past fall, Carol Feller designed 2 sweaters. One was a knit along that she did, and one was just a sweater that she sold called Landscape Waves.
Oh, is it the green one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so pretty.
I love that sweater
That's really, really pretty.
so much. Like, we had to, like, I had it on the front page, the homepage of the website, and we needed to change the homepage because it was time. I was like, I don't want to. Like, I get to see that every time I open my website. I was like, no, I'm not changing it. So I put it on my desktop for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that piece.
That's really
most
pretty.
definitely. And then there are a bunch of Shannon shawls that I really like quite a bit. So, and pretty much any sock that Kat Bordy designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most of us feel that way.
So we had talked a little bit, I think, before we started recording, that your yarns are in 11 states, but also in Canada, France, and England. Have you seen them in person abroad ever?
No, I have not. It's a goal.
Yeah. To go visit
Mm-hmm.
your babies in another country. If you could go on your own fiber arts tour, where would you go?
Everywhere. I'd start in Scotland, and I'd spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Like, that's in that part of the world. I would go to Russia. I don't know, all those Eastern European. Yeah, most definitely. Probably South America too.
Yeah.
Places in South America.
I really want to go to Uruguay to see like the cooperatives.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool. Okay. Is there anything I didn't ask that you would like to share with the crafting world?
No, not off the top of my head.
I know. Maybe. What's your best piece of spinning or dyeing advice?
I think for both of them, I mean, I guess I feel this way about anything creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have tons of different kinds of teachers and read all kinds of books, but, experiment, play with it, find your own way.
That's good. It's good for pretty much anything involving fiber, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you very much for chatting with me.
Sure, my
Now
pleasure.
We're going to go take some pictures of the beautiful, beautiful yarns. Okay.
I hope there's yarn out there.
Yeah. All right, see you next time.